That was a fun one. That was a war. Those are always packed out crowd. Got really loud late. Arena was phenomenal day. It's great. It's just can't get over how good it looks in there when you get the fans in there. And high level college basketball game today. Ryan's done an incredible job with that team, and they play with tremendous fight. You knew they were just going to keep coming. Both teams just battled it out, and proud to come on the other side of it. Conference play, a lot of one possession games. There's going to be a lot of those, but they've got an incredible point guard. They've got a great 5-man. They've got some attackers and shooters around it, and they play really, really hard. And so, first half we built a little bit of a margin, and they fought back. I thought they really hurt us on the backboard. I thought also we gave them some turnovers that just put them in transition. And I think it was about 26 of their points in the first half. I felt they came off a second chance or turnovers. And I thought our ball security was a little bit better in the second half. I thought we did a better job on the backboards, not giving them so many second chance points. And then it just got to back and forth. I felt like we led, I guess, for about 32 minutes of the game. We had a couple times where we pushed it out, 6, 7, 8, but you knew they would keep coming. And they hit that big three, and then they hit that other three that just kind of rolled around, and you thought it might fall off, and then it went in there. They made some huge plays down the stretch, but give our guys credit, we did too. Asa just continues to make big play after big play. We went to him when they hit the three to cut it to 2. We go to him, he hits the 3, go to 5. They go down and score. We come back to him, we get him on another 3. They foul him, he goes to the free throw line. I thought that was a big sequence in the game. Baba Franklin, no, he didn't play a whole lot, but man, when he was out there, I thought he gave us tremendous value. The one play that might be the play of the game, they had some momentum. We have a bad turnover. We're up 2. They go down to tie, and he goes verticality at the rim, and they miss the layup, and we get possession there. Asa gets the rebound, gets fouled. We go to the free throw line. Huge swing, huge. They get a layup there. They tie the game. They're into it. We're probably taking a timeout, but it just kind of it gave us a little bit of a second just to relax and catch our breath and try to get some stops. But they made it hard late, and so fans got a treat today. That was a lot of bad things being said about college basketball, but you couldn't beat that game out there today. That environment, those two teams, the quality of ball, their execution, our execution, the fight, that's what college basketball is all about. It's a great game.
Coach, I thought in the 2-point game, you're going to have a whole lot of important big plays, and I thought one kind of typified part of the game today. The big storyline of the game is Charles Johnson's defense on their big man. That dude was shooting 70% coming in today. He's shooting 70% now. And he took the offensive foul right underneath the bucket at a crucial time in the second half. Can you just speak to how Chuck played defensively today?
Well, it's funny, we almost got to 5 double-figure scores, which is always what a great Furman basketball game looks like with the ball movement. 16 assists, got turnovers down to 11. They actually do a great job turning people over. We should have had 7. 4 of them, we just dribbled right into 2 people and lost the ball. But I think when you look at it, Chuck, with 9 points, you could argue he was player of the game in terms of just what he did from a toughness and physicality standpoint. We felt like we needed to keep him out of foul trouble, and so that's why we doubled in the first half when 26 got the ball. And we got to halftime, and we kept him out of foul trouble, and we decided to play it straight up. We felt like we were getting lost on the backside in the double a little bit, and he did an unbelievable job playing one-on-one defense and did it without fouling, played with great physicality, and did an unbelievable, both of them rebounded. I mean, Chuck gets 12, he gets 13. I mean, it was a high-level matchup right there. And so he had to guard a million ball screens. Then once he finishes guarding a ball screen on an elite point guard, then he's got to roll down there and play post defense. And then they're going to shoot a ball at some point, and then he's got to go get most of the rebounds. And the stress that we're putting on him to be able to do that, but then you look at the box score, he's +9. He's the highest plus-minus guy on the day, +9. And so, you go in a 2-point game and you see a guy that's +9, that's a pretty big stretch. That's a pretty big outlier, and it just shows you how critical he was when he was in the game. And then, how we've got to tighten some things up when he's out of the game.
Coach, I thought you mentioned the execution down the stretch offensively for you guys was really, really pretty good. The play that got Asa a 3, I think Wofford used to run that a lot, but that was well executed because they had to foul there, and then on the last play or the last possession where Alex kind of gets the isolation. I mean, just talk about the execution on that, and then I thought ball deflections today on the defensive end were probably pretty key as well.
So we're not going to give credit to Wofford on that action. That's a Dan Hurley action, so that's a UConn play there. But we've run that the past couple of years. That was a Nick Anderson special, and we put Asa in a decent amount. And they ran that a lot in their national championship runs. Great play for us, and Asa got some separation there, especially the way people play off of Ben. But look, we hit on probably 3 or 4 plays in the last 4 minutes of the game, and execution is, we talked about last night in team meeting, to win the game today, we have to play clean. And we've got to be clean in our ball security. We've got to be clean in our offense, and we've got to keep the offense on the rails. We've got to be clean in our set execution. We've got to be clean by not fouling. I thought that was a huge key to the game. You can see it was a 50-50 game, and you can see some things they did well. You can see some things we did well. But keeping them off the free throw line was a huge key to the game. They attack you, they drive it, they put pressure on. The handler's going to put pressure on you, the post player's going to press pressure on you, and then they're going to go to the free throw line. And I thought we did a pretty good job, more so in the second half, I thought, of staying in front of the ball, keeping the ball gapped up, and making sure that we're not putting ourselves in position to get fouls at the rim. And so, the execution, you get in late games. We saved that call for late. We walked it yesterday in practice, anticipating this was going to be a war. If we needed to play late, we were going to go to that play for Lex down the right lane line. And I didn't know what they would do with Chuck as he escaped out. I was hoping that 26 would go with him, and he did, just with the way Chuck's shooting the ball. And it allowed Alex to get down the lane line. And once he gets that close to the basket, we know how good he's been being able to make those plays. But incredible to be able to count on a freshman to put the ball in his hands late. But I thought he did a great job getting on 2 feet and shooting a good ball right there for us to take the lead. All kind of guys. I mean, Ace obviously was execution. Chuck with how physical he played. Vandy had an incredible second half. I thought he really made some key plays in the second half. And then couldn't be more proud of Tom House. I mean, just everything that he's been through, and how many people probably keep asking him as much as they keep asking me, when's he going to get going? And look, if you've watched us play at all, he's been playing with tremendous fight. He's been a great teammate. He's shown great leadership. The ball's starting to go in more. I think he's 7 for his last 18 coming into the game here. Tonight, he goes for 13 points, has 3 big-time drives, 2 in the first half, and they had 1 in the second. And I thought he just played with just great, spirit, demeanor, fight, and we needed that. We needed that, and couldn't be more proud of the effort that he gave today and the swagger that he played with.
What's the tradition of Coop now? How long do you?
We're just taking it, it's going to be a week-to-week scenario, and hopefully at some point we'll get him back, we'll get Colin back, and potentially at some point, who knows, never know, maybe we get Molnar back late too. That's a 50-50 thing, but they'll be back. They'll be back. It's just a matter of just seeing how recovery goes and how the body adjusts and things like that. But, the story today is we had enough to beat the highest net rating team in the league. That's the story. And so we miss Coop. Coop brings a tremendous amount of value, and we miss Colin, and we miss Davis. Those guys are really, really good players for us. But for our guys to have the guts, that we have 3 freshmen out there, basically out of 8 guys, and to play a team that, like we talked about, highest net rated team in the league going into the day. And for us to send 3 freshmen out there to fight like that, and for guys to step up and make key plays, that's the joy that you get to just see a group come together. And no self-pity, just, hey, these are the circumstances. They're not always ideal, but you know what, that's life. And you gotta go find a way. And I think our group has done a great job of keeping that mindset, of not accepting defeat, of not accepting, pity, and not accepting, woe is me. But hey, we got to step up. We got opportunities to go out there and step up. We need guys to go out there and step up. And we've got to stay connected, and we got to make sure that our strength has to be our connection. And we've got to go play to identity, and let's just go see what happens. And did Chuck Johnson step up today? Did Tom House step up today? right? Alex and Lex, they've been doing what they've been doing. Did Ben Vanderwall step up in the second half, right? Did Baba Franklin go out there and compete? Does he need more time out there? Absolutely. He's got to learn, you know, but did he go play hard? Owen needs reps. I mean, just look, you can go out there and be like, well, why isn't he playing better? Well, what about Alex Wilkins' first game in Rock Hill? What about the first couple games we're putting Colin and Baba out there? It's going to take a little time. But I'll tell you this, Owen Ricker is good enough, and he can help us, and he will help us. But you're going to tell him, hey, first game you're going to go out there is Charleston Southern with a 6'11" protecting the rim. Second game we're going to go out there with a 6'10", 240 that's had an unbelievable non-conference performance. And hey, you got to go deal with him. Like, we're putting a lot on him, and we got to continue to practice him well. We got to continue to develop him well. We got to continue to give him confidence. But he's going to be just fine. He's going to be just fine, and we just got to keep figuring it out. Right? It's one game at a time. Here's who we have. And then, man, like, hey, that could be the blessing in it. Let's go get healthy, and then we've got some added depth, and we got some guys that have more confidence late in the year in what we all know. You know, it's a 3-game season at the end of the year, and we're all fighting an 18-game schedule to figure out what the seed ranking is. And so these games are really, really critical. But we've got to build up, and we've got to understand it comes down to that tournament, and we've got to put ourselves in the best position, have the best seed that we can in that tournament.
Coach, sometimes I think it's oddly sometimes an advantage to be on the road in these New Year's Eve SoCon openers because students aren't back and you got like an odd start time in the middle of the week. And I thought a big key today was how y'all came out of the gate. And you had Ben driving, you had Tom House driving for buckets early on. You know, the whole team looked like they were laser focused and ready to go. Can you speak how you just came out of the gate?
It's something that we've talked a lot about in the last 3 weeks. Didn't think we were having great starts beginning of the season. We were just kind of hit or miss. Looked like we were coming out, you know, on our heels a few games, and really just wanted to emphasize starting better. And we focused that, we made that a priority in practice, to start faster in practice, to try to have what we call a fastball start. Like, let's go out there and let's start this game ready to go. And I think that's all these games, especially when you're getting into league games versus two really, really good teams. The start's going to be critical, the finish is going to be critical, the middle eight's going to be critical, and then everything in between. But you've got to be able to handle the transitions of the game, going from warm-ups to the start of the game, going from the end of half, going from the beginning of half, going to the end of the game. The focal points in those games, you've got to be really good there. And a mature team understands that. A mature team understands the psychology of those things. And our team's growing there. I think we've had better defensive starts for the most part in games. And a lot of times when we're really playing great defense, it fuels a lot of our offense because it allows us to get in transition. And I think a lot of those things today, you saw that. If you look at, we had 17 points today on fast breaks. And when this team can get stops and we can get out and run, that's when we're at our best. And we've got to continue to push that. And that's got to be started being complementary and making sure that it all starts with a defense. And I think that's where mature teams, when you step on that court, you're going to be thinking about something. And a lot of times players step on that court and they try to figure out, how am I going to play today? What's this going to feel like? When am I going to get my first shot? Am I going to make my first shot? And you got these jitters thinking about how you're going to play. When you get a team that goes out there from the jump and they can understand the mission of the game, what are we trying to accomplish? How are we trying to play on both sides of the ball and just go win that possession in front of you? When you can get a group thinking like that, that's when you can have a good start, because you just take your focus and you shift it from yourself and you put it onto the mission. And when you can put that thing on the mission, it really fuels the energy to come out there and have a big time start. And I thought we didn't have the amount of deflections that I would like to see today. I do think we got consecutive stops, and I thought, you know, we won the glass. We were 41-37 on the backboard. I thought we did a great job there, especially in the second half. Did not do a great job there in the first half, but we did a much better job cleaning some of that stuff in the second half. But, you know, start the basketball games, as we know, momentum's always up for grabs. So you got to be ready to come out the gate the right way.
When you face a team like Mercer today, who's pretty physical when they pressed you, how much of a luxury is it to have a Ben Vanderwall who can sort of, is physically, he can handle that? Can you just talk about that?
Well, we knew they were going to come out and pressure us. They did a great job. I mean, the Clemson game a couple weeks ago, they pressured them a little bit. They've pressured everybody. They've got, Number one, obviously really guards, 6 guards, 26, a big body that can protect the basket.
Yes, exactly.
So they're gonna bump you. They're gonna make you earn it. They're gonna push you full court, and we anticipated they would try to do that with Alex. I thought that was the best Alex has handled full court pressure this year. I thought he did a good job being poised with it. Probably slowed down a little bit too much and then a little bit of a segment late in the first half. But for the most part, like, keep our pace, take care of the ball, play in straight lines, keep 2 feet on the ground, play fast but don't play in a hurry. I thought we did a good job there. And then look, it goes back to our first year. We're playing in Tennessee, and I'm watching the film, and Coach Barnes has those guys picking point guards up full court. And I said, John Davis, we're not going to deal with this tonight. D5, you're going to take the ball up the court. And we let Daniel take the ball up the floor, and we had a chance to win that game in Knoxville late there. And it's just humility of, hey, if this guy's a really good on-ball defender, let's not deal with this. And so we were trying to balance it of when could we attack with Alex, and then when could we just let somebody else bring the ball to the floor. And I thought we did a decent job of that. I didn't think we were great in some of the late first half there, but I thought for the most part of the game we did a good job handling that pressure.
Coach, even though his totals don't like stand out on the sheet, Owen, you just brought him up. When he was in there for that 7 minutes to allow Charles a chance to relax and get himself refreshed, he did a great job just basically for the 7 minutes he was in there. Can you just kind of speak about how important that was to have him to be able to go in the game and still keep that intensity that you want?
Well, the best thing about Owen for a freshman, Owen has a great amount of size and strength for a freshman. So Owen's 6'9", 220, 223. You know, he's got good size, got good strength. He's sturdy. He can rebound. He's got good athleticism. The game is hard to simulate, and we just got to continue to get him these 8 to 10 minutes. And really, I really think if we need to extend him to 14 to 15, once he gets more comfortable out there, then we're going to be able to do that. He doesn't mind playing physical. He's got a great amount of skill to him. I thought it was a little bit, I don't want to say overwhelming today. I think it was more just the game's different. And you're out there, it's one thing to be out there and practice, but he just needs some reps. And whether that's going to be the next game, whether that's going to be 2 games from now, whether it's going to be 3 games from now, there'll be a point where it starts to slow down for him a little bit. And we've seen that so far. We've seen that with Alex. We've seen that with Colin. We've seen that with Baba. All 3 of our freshmen that have been playing, they had a little bit of a ramp up, and they had to get used to the pace. They had to get used to how hard it is out there. I think there was a couple plays I'll be interested in watching on film. Thought there was a couple finishes Owen could have had if he would have elevated and really tried to get on the rim. And he probably took it a little bit for granted, or maybe it was nerves, or maybe it was being new out there, that he didn't explode off the floor and they were able to block it. But they're good at that. I mean, they had a couple blocks today that, I mean, it was impressive. You know, where you feel like you got an advantage there, and they come in there and they clean you up at the rim. But I think we're going to see a few on film that he probably could have converted, and he'll get used to that as he watches the film and he continues to work on it. But I've got great confidence that Owen can work himself into a more comfortable role as he gets a little bit more steady out there, understands what we're trying to do on both ends of the floor, and just gets reps to be able to do that.